Testing 1, 2, 3. Hi there, guys. You guys can hear me loud and clear. I'm just giving. So today is the 7th of July. Okay, 2020. It's already 7th month, July already, middle of the year, above the middle of the year, approaching the end of the year. So okay, we have got lots of opportunities. I just 40 pips. That's good. If you are trading $1 per pip or more than $1 per pip, it's quite good to grab some pips for AUD USD. Because also the other thing as well, Alfred, is that you caught your AUD USD at the right time to take profit and to exit, because as you can see, it just reversed there at, let me just check the price. It reversed quite close to where you took profit as well, 6924. Yeah, so you took profit at 6930 if I'm not mistaken, so for over pips or something like that. And just before it actually reversed, so that was a good call. You know, you managed to get that 40 pips just before, or you could have floated there. So but yeah, 6930, that's good. So yeah, that's basically it. Now there's a lot of a negativity surrounding Australian dollar crosses. Okay, so your AUD crosses are quite negative at the moment. So maybe here AUD USD, perhaps you can get second round falling prices as well later on. We don't know that yet. But then what is happening fundamentally in Australia is that we have got overnight 191 new cases for the coronavirus. And they are talking about a possible lockdown for Australia, especially in Melbourne, Victoria, and all these main cities. So this is a very big hit for not only Australia, because Australia's trading partner, both China, New Zealand as well, has got connection with Australia. So we might be seeing more negativity or bearishness with these currencies, and it does actually depend. Now the shift would actually depend on the economic and political lockdown situation in Australia, because they basically import and export quite a lot, relying on China's imports as well for them to do businesses. And whatever that lands in Australia also gets sent and shipped to New Zealand from the Sydney ports. So this is basically why we've got connections of selling opportunities as well with these pairs. Now, the AUD and USD, AUD and NZD are called antipodian pairs. Okay, they are called antipodian currencies, not pairs, antipodian currencies. Just the name is like that. These are the category of currencies. So especially Australia and Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar, antipodians. Okay, because sometimes we may watch the news or just hear it, and then they might show it as antipodian currencies. Maybe the headlines are different. Maybe you'll be wondering what that is. So these are New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar. Okay, antipodian. All right. Okay, so let's take a look a little bit with opportunities first before we talk a little bit about Fibonacci, because I want to just give you a bit of an introduction only of Fibonacci, just to a bit of a refresher on how you pull your Fibonacci ratios, what are Fibonacci retracements, what are Fibonacci extensions, and then we want to take that into three parts. So we've got Fibonacci part 1, part 2, and part 3, so that we can keep applying the tools, and it becomes a refresher on its own for the next ones. And that would be good, because we will be using Fibonacci tools quite a lot in our geometric patterns basics as well. Okay, so let's look at the heat map, and we want to give it a bit of an idea of the heat map as well. Now here itself, as you guys can see, it's all red under the GBP. If it's all red under the GBP, it doesn't mean that GBP is the one on the red or bearish. It means that all the currencies on the left, they are very bearish against the GBP. That actually means GBP is the one really strong or really bullish. Okay, but this is on the daily chart. But if we what I like is that when I see one color tone and it's darkest red or darkest blue, then you know that it is actually really strong in terms of the trend. This is on the daily chart. So here you can actually give it a bit of an idea to tell you that the GBP is on a bullish run at the moment. So you want to look at buying opportunities for the GBP against all the other, most of the other currencies. But then this is on the daily chart, which is a good time frame to look at in terms of trend. When I go onto the 4-hour chart, it's the same as well, GBP here. This is the most obvious one visually for you to look at from the what do you call that, the heat map. So here it does tell me, even on the 4-hour, from the 4-hour chart to the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly as well. Weekly, okay, it's got mixed colors, but they are still red, so it's still bearish. So most of the other currencies are still bearish against the GBP. On the monthly, we've got that rate still going on. The rate, just rate itself means it's bearish. If it's dark red, means it is strongly bearish. Okay, so we want to look at the darker colors. So the darker colors here is good because it gives us the potential to think that the trend is really, really strong. So it is really strong for the GBP to have uptrend. Okay, mainly because all the pairs here are weaker against GBP. So let's look at GBP. As you can see, GBP is strong against the USD. Very, very bullish, bullish, bullish on the 4-hour, daily, and weekly chart against the USD. Still very strong there. So we want more darker colors. So the darker colors here on most of the time frames, it will be for USD against GBP against USD, GBP against JPY. So GBP, JPY, want to take a look at. GBP, USD, want to take a look at as well. Okay, so let's see whether we've got opportunities there first. But I want to show you guys simple ways of how you can trade intraday just very quickly, and also not only based on all these how you call that, 3 EMA lines only. So let me just get all this here. I have got some analysis already done for GBP USD as of Sunday night. So Sunday night itself, I have spotted some potential uptrend already for GBP USD before the news, before things are happening for GBP. So GBP also connected to what's happening in the UK. So UK, we've got some positive numbers, economic positive numbers. We have got improvement in various areas. There may be a little bit of hint of positivity on the Brexit side of it, but not entirely positive. Just one or two words that seem to be positive about the Brexit and all that. So that's all been factored in into creating some positivity. But then that was reflected on its positivity before all these news, as well as of last week, especially in the weekend and Friday night last week as well. I begin to realize that the GBP may have potential to go up. So I want to first tell you, how did I actually find out that it's got an upward potential or a bullish potential from the very beginning. So I would like to erase all these analysis that I have, and then we start from scratch. And the best way, I have also mentioned this to Alfred, especially, you know, if you want to do intraday, is to look into the daily chart only as a trend indicator. I have emphasized that yesterday as well. So you can look at GBP USD, you go into the daily chart. Now we are on the daily chart. You want to look at the trend, especially what's going on. Now here, usually what happens is that if you find you have got an ABCD like this going up, look at the closest area first. You have got A here, you got a bit of B, C, and then the price is definitely looking like it is. Oh, just get rid of that. Just want to get rid of the arrows. I'm not sure what that is. There you go. Okay, so now the price for GBP USD on the daily chart, we're looking at the daily chart. It's trading at 1.2535. Now, as it goes up, of course, you know, the most obvious one here, standalone peak right here, is your resistant area right here. This is again based on the what do you call that, daily chart. So on the daily chart itself, I found that it may have the A here, B here, C, so then the D would actually be upward. Now, the other thing that I've noticed is that I've got higher lows right here, and I've got higher highs as well. So I've got a higher high. That high went higher than these two highs right here. And then I've got this 1, 2, 3 lows, and each one is higher than the previous ones. So we've got a higher high and higher low, which actually means that there may be a potential. Higher highs, higher low means the stairs is going upwards. So that I spotted on the daily chart from the very beginning, and then I find that there may be a potential of an uptrend. And hence the reason I see that the gap of how far it could actually go up is actually measured by that resistance level. From the current price to your resistance level right there, you have got a, let's say roughly until this lower line here, about 200 pips. So there is a potential of a 200 pips up. But is there a real potential of the 200 pips up? We can always go on to 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart as well, but we want to look to the left. Whether we're looking at a 1-hour chart or the 4-hour chart, we want to look to the left for buying potential with a single mother candle to the upside. Okay, the reason why the AUD USD as well did very well on the sell is mainly because they were mother candles, bearish ones that were actually in the past. So I think we have also gone through that, right, to go and see that single mother candle. So now we want to do the same thing. We want to look at daily first, look at whether we have got mother candles, single mother candle going up. And if we have a single mother candle going up right up to this area, that means it's got a lot of potential. Okay. The other thing as well is I want to always look at the strength of the trend. Okay, so you can measure that using the average directional movement index. Okay, so let me just into there. So we have got yeah, average directional movement index. I want to always add the level 25. I want to look at the blue line right there, whether or not it's above 25 or not. So here, firstly, we need to make that decision of what trend is it on. It seems like there is an uptrend going on with the GBP USD, especially on the daily chart. So most likely it's an uptrend overall, especially from the short to the medium term, but we've got about 200 pips potential upwards, but potential only. We don't actually even know yet how strong that trend is. So here on the daily chart, that 25, we are on an uptrend right there. Uptrend is building up. So this uptrend is not very strong because that blue line on the ADX, average directional movement index, is under 25. You see that blue line is not above the 25, it's under. So that means whatever trend I'm looking at, which is the uptrend on the daily chart, is not that strong. Okay, so I need to go to a strong time frame that has strength in the trend, which means that the blue line needs to be above 25 for that time frame. So now if I move on to the 4-hour chart, let's see whether there's any change. There is. You can see that on a 4-hour chart, we have got more potential of price moving a little bit faster because there is strength of the trend. Okay, so here on the 1-hour, we can see that it still is up. The blue line is above 25. So what does that mean? That means that we can expect price to move more and all that, and maybe reaching towards our TP or starting to move. There is volume, there is liquidity, there is buying pressure only if we see that the blue line is above 25. That is why sometimes you find that when you are trading a pair, it doesn't go anywhere. So you have to wait, and then you don't know when exactly it will actually start moving. The candles start moving up and down and growing, longer, and then new candle go up, and then the price goes up. So that only happens when the strength of the trend is strong. And when the trend is strong, that means there's a lot of participation by either the buyers or the sellers. Okay, depends on the trend. So here in this case, there may be a participation of buyers into a trend. They follow mass psychology. There's something going on in the market that is either it's news, either it's something else, or insiders information, anything it can be, but they are participation to the upside. So then the ADX is looking like it's got strength for the GBP USD. So this is for the 1-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, okay, we can see it's reasonably high. But then when you go on the daily chart, it starts to weaken. That means the strength would most probably weaken for the long term, especially on the daily chart. Okay, so now let's go back to the 4-hour chart. Now with the 4-hour chart, we know now you've got a little bit of a strength to the upside, but then where is our threat? Okay, if we're going on the 4-hour chart now, because you are trading intraday, it's better not to look at anything else. Only look at trend on the daily chart. All the other analysis, you want to look to the left, you want to do anything else, draw trend line, whatever, you want to do it on a lower time frame because you are an intraday trader. You want faster results. Okay, so you want to trade on the short to medium term. You cannot draw, if you draw everything here on the daily chart, that will take some time because you are on a daily chart. That's for long-term trading. Okay, so you are using daily chart only as the information for your trend. That's all. You do trend analysis. So on the 4-hour, it's quite interesting because we have got prices from here itself. We can see that the current price is also on the opening price of a single mother candle, a bullish mother candle right here. But I just want to explore a little bit more. The other thing that is quite good that I can see happening on the 4-hour chart, especially to support uptrend, is that it has gone slightly over the resistance area right here. So you can mark your resistance right here. Okay, but the one that is quite important, or I wouldn't say, I would say quite interesting and attractive, is the price pattern side of it. I know yesterday we talked about price pattern, so it's a bit of a continuation today as well, because it's very important for us to talk about Fibonacci and price pattern as well, because the way we measure certain pattern is based on the Fibonacci ratio. Okay, but I will draw a pattern for you, and I'm expecting this pattern to be quite a nice pattern, pushing price for GBP to the upside. So that actually means that we may have more potential to the upside for GBP USD. But let me lay out the risk first. We have got a risk area there, which is your resistance area. Once price actually break out of there, it might actually come down a little bit before it proceeds upwards. But let's say if the trend is really strong and it pushes price to go through and penetrate through this area of resistance and then go upwards, where you think your next resistance will be? Your next resistance will be a standalone resistance area here. So you can actually mark that one as well. Okay, you can mark that from that area there. You can mark that there from that area there as well. Okay, 1 second, the questions. Okay, yeah. You cannot hear me. Okay, let me just check. Testing. Can all of you guys hear me or not? Let me just test with the others first. Everyone can hear me? Pratap, you can hear. I think Alfred can hear me as well. If most of you guys can hear me, then that means Ashwa must have some loud and clear. Okay, let me just check. Maybe it is on Ashwath's end. Let me just. Okay. Yeah, just try checking first. Yeah, because everybody could, if most can hear me, then it's not at my end. Okay, all right. So we have got another resistant area right there. So that actually means your buying pressure, you move your buy, go up, then you cannot get overly excited because that is where it might actually come down again there. Here, if it goes up there, then you've got it right here as well. Okay, there you go. So we have got an upward potential. Now, once it breaks out of there, we've also got another candle here. There's a candle here, a single bullish mother candle there that actually moved for about roughly 50 over pips. Okay, so we've got another 50 over pips strength of 50 over pips from a single bullish mother candle as well. So this does actually confirm that we have got potential for a buy on there because we have got strength of the trend. We've also got participation by buyers in the past. Okay, so just check. Okay, so now as you can see, for GBP USD, I've just laid out potential area location to buy. You can buy in within here, here, and also here. But in terms of pattern, we have got a bearish sharp pattern that I can see visually, but I haven't actually confirmed whether or not it's a good high probability sharp pattern or not. We need Fibonacci to tell us that. So but here itself, I can see that there may be a sharp pattern, okay, going down. Looks like a W, but here this is the nose of the shark. You got all the teeth in here. Then this is the other lower mouth here, and this is how it looks like. So let me just show you how does a sharp pattern look like, okay, especially a bearish sharp pattern. So here. This is a bearish sharp pattern because we are looking at where it would reverse and come down. So that is called a bearish sharp pattern. Okay. So here, if you type on Google sharp pattern, okay, you can see it's all there. You go to images. Okay. You've got two types. You've got the bullish sharp pattern, bearish sharp pattern. So the bearish sharp pattern is what we may have in our on our chart for GBP USD. So what it tells us, all these numbers that you see, these are Fibonacci ratio of the structure of the pattern. So that actually means that this part red line here can go up to 1.618 or 2.24. This means the target can actually be your Fibonacci ratio that you need to pull from A to B, and the price target for the C going up can be either at the 1.618 or 2.24. So let's do this together. Okay, so now I have got this part here, Fibonacci. I pull this one downwards to the end here. Okay, and then I want to look at 2.24, it says, you see the 2.24, okay, or 224 is the same thing, and 1.618, which is 161.8 as well, is the same here. So what I will do is I will change the color to mark that. Okay, so I've got that one there at 2.224 right there, and then I need another one at 1.68. That means you have got two targets, two options of your take profit. Okay, so you take profit. Have it's not moving. Ah, that's why. Fibonacci. Oh, okay, so we have 2.24 is the upper green line, 1.618 is that. So that actually means that this move potentially following a bearish sharp pattern could actually move. Oops. Okay, could actually move towards 1.2718 or 1.2894. Okay, so for me, I want to be conservative, so I want to adjust that according to psychological numbers. So if I'm based on that one there, I will exit at 1.2870. If I'm based on that one there, is 2710. So we've got two options. Now we can also play it in within all these lines that I have drawn as well. So we have got a nice trade idea aiming at GBP USD to the upside. But then now at this moment of time, the price is trading too close to the 2550 psychological number. So your entry potentially would be better at 2560. So 1.2560 to start trading to the upside. But then it's all nice and good to see that it may have a potential to go up that high, but we need to be very, very careful so that because that is a 300 plus, 360 plus pips potential, but we need to trade in stages in safe area and safe zones. So now the price is here. Let me just mark the price. Okay, so let us explore the price at the moment, and I want to look at whether or not at this area we have got a single bullish mother candle. I can see that we've got it here, single bullish mother candle right there. But your trading needs to start at 2560. So if it were to be 2560, okay, all the way up to I should be 2590. Okay, 2590. That's exactly about 30 pips. Okay, so you've got a 30 pips potential here. Some potential here as well, more or less about 50 pips, but then less than 50 if you um, tweak it to psychological numbers. So here you are, you've got a sharp pattern, a bearish sharp pattern, which actually means that once it actually go up to this side here, it has a potential to come down. Now, this part of the mouth of the pattern is really interesting. It usually makes out a Z, lazy Z pattern, because that is roughly the movement. If it start to reverse there, it most probably will end up there first. It may actually go down a lot more, but that is your immediate sort of bullishness, sorry, bearishness and aim that you can take at the moment. Okay. Okay, where would the stop loss be if we start to turn around? Yes, that's a good question. Now, usually the stop loss, in my opinion, would actually be the one-to-one risk-reward ratio. So it's especially if you're trading with a pattern. That actually means that it depends on your potential for profit. If your potential for profit is 50 pips, your risk to reward ratio is one-to-one. If your stop loss will also be 50 pips down from the entry. So from the entry to your take profits, 50 pips. From the entry to the stop loss is also 50 pips. So you just equalize your potential from the entry point to either take profit or stop loss. They are equal in number. Okay, does that make sense? It's okay. Right. The other thing as well is that when I pull my Fibonacci from here, bottom to top, the reason why I pull it from bottom to top is because it is an expected uptrend, or it was an uptrend all the way up, down, up, right? So because it's an uptrend from down to up, then your Fibonacci needs to be pulled from down to up as well. If your trend is moving downwards like this, then your trend, because the trend began at the top, is the same with your Fibonacci ratio. You want to also click onto the top, come down to the bottom. So your A to B needs to be pulled from here to here if it is a downtrend. If it's uptrend, you follow the direction of the uptrend. If it's downtrend, you follow the direction of the downtrend. As simple as that. So this is a potential sharp pattern. Now, this sharp pattern here may also have the Z pattern here, which actually means that we may look at it falling down. Usually your take profit based on this pattern is as low as this area, which is about 50% of that whole length. Okay, so this is your C to D length here. So then once it reaches here, if it does actually start to retract and rebound and come down, of course, we've got many strategies to look into whether it's a reversal or not. Then you want to look at selling after that, after it reaches here, selling to aim at this area here. But at this moment of time, too early for the sell and all that, we might be looking at more on the buy side. Now, on the daily chart, you can see that you have got the sharp pattern there connected with the Z pattern as well. So this is roughly the shape, but I want to leave this shape here just in case when we come back, onto the webinar every day, we want to also monitor this, and I want to also make sure that we all understand how do we actually spot patterns. But it is an ongoing thing. So don't worry if you don't catch it up the first few times. It doesn't matter. Just take your time, okay, to understand that we will repeat and we will actually apply it practically on how to trade. So you've got your trade idea here. It's like a signal for you guys to actually look into buying for the GBP USD. Now I want to go on to the 1 hour chart because there's a lot more daily intraday traders, not really the long-term traders. So you want to close your trades in within a day and all that. You want to look at, like I've mentioned, daily chart only for the trend. So here on the 1 hour chart, we can see that it is looking like it is reversing. Okay, it's actually on its way down on the 1 hour chart. On the 4 hour chart, we could see almost the same, but it's easy to explain on the 4 hour chart because I've drawn all these areas zone and they are all resistant, resistant, resistant. Because here you're looking at a buy. You see that buy was very strong. You got a very small wick. The smaller the wick, the more powerful the movement as well. Okay, especially for the bullish candle, your lower wick is smaller, which is on the downside. Then you can actually see more potential to the upside. But now it's a bit too early, as I've mentioned, because we've got all this play of price and everything else. So you want to wait to buy only once price have gone to 1.2560. Once it goes to 60, then you can actually take profit at 2640. That is 26. Okay. So you've got about 30 pips at the top one right there. Okay. So there you go. I'm curious to know at the current price now here, have we got any very bullish? Got the bullish one there, of course, but we want to look for more. Current price is here. So we've got some bullishness action there, but I want a single bullish candle. Okay, price is down here at the moment. 2530 is roughly where it's trading right now for GBP USD. Okay, we've got some strength in this area, brought price right up, but not really the right price to buy because the buying price was exactly at the opening price there, which was 2828. So it's probably better if you're looking at the breakout of that area to look into the bullish candle as well. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at the ADX at the moment as well. Give me a second, guys. Yeah, I'm just looking at the dates as well. It's not looking like it's very accurate, the data on my chart. The ADX on the GBP USD on the 4-hour chart, cannot look at it properly. Give me a second. Okay, so the ADX is showing a lot of sign of picking up trend on. It has to be bullishness at the moment because the GBP USD is quite bullish. Okay, and you can see that it is on the GBP USD. We've also checked the action forex earlier on. So what I'm trying to say as well is that you have got bullishness and buying opportunity in this area here, in this area, in this area here as well. Okay, above the green line as well until the very top. So the whole potential that you have got is about 300 over pips until it reaches there. But we don't want to take the 300 pips all at once and leave your trade open now. No, why? Because number one, most of you guys are intraday traders. So intraday traders, you don't want to leave it on and then just leave it like that. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so here, for example, you want to trade in stages. So your first phase or first trade will actually be at 2560, let's say. Then you want to take profit at 2640, let's say. So that's about 30 pips or so. Is that correct? Yes. No, sorry. 2590, 2560 and 2590. So that's about 30 pips in that first area zone right there. Okay. Your second zone right there, you want to enter the market at 2630. Then you want to take profit at that one, maybe a little bit too small, that one there. So you want to look at stage by stage. Let's look at the first stage first at 2560 entry, 2690 to actually take profit. So that should actually be your first step, but it looks like a nice enough pattern. What I am more curious about is to look at single bullish, single bullish candles, okay, from the price right there. So we have got one around this area right here, that one there, because it's a 4-hour chart. From here to here, it's already about 90 pips on that one there. Okay, so that's good sign. Let's see the current price. This one here is blocking my current price at the moment. So I just want to look into to the left and look at whether or not I've got more single bullish candle, because I want to make sure that I have got power of a single bullish candle. Okay, just to confirm the trend that it has participants, it has buyers as well. Now here definitely you've got good movement to the upside, exactly that area, which is a good sign. We've got one here. It's got a very nice single bullish candle that started from the opening price right there, right to the closing price at 84 pips. It opened at 2535. Okay, so that is your GBP USD. So it's looking good. It's looking like we've got some power. The ADX as well is looking very good. It's above 25. So hopefully this one here can actually be a good trade for us on the buy side for GBP USD. Okay, got about 30 pips or so. That's a really nice start as well. If you're trading $1 per pip or even more, then you can actually see that it's quite worth it to do that. But of course, you want to keep your risk level down as well. Okay, so your risk level needs to be really, if you are willing or you are looking at the potential of 50 pips, ask yourself whether you're willing to lose the 50 pips. Then if you're willing to lose 50, and then you can trade $1 per pip, let's say, then that's 50 pips. So then that is the amount that you would be actually losing if it hits your stop loss there, because your potential equals your stop loss in ratio, so it's 1 to 1, right? Okay, there you go, guys. How is it so far? You guys got that for the GBP USD trading potential? Okay, this was quite a nice one. I've done this analysis on Sunday, GBP JPY, and this analysis was done based on the daily chart again, and then I moved on to the lower time frame. It has also signaled me a potential to the upside for most of the GBP crosses, like I've mentioned. And here, for example, GBP JPY, you still have some room to actually take profit at about, say, about 30 to 40 pips, because now the price is at 13500, not a good price to buy. So you can buy at 13510, let's say, wait a little bit more, then you can take profit at 13540. Okay, so you've got about 40 pips, you've got about 30 pips there if you trade at 13510. Okay. Okay. Cheng Ho, your question, was it answered clearly? What do you did you understand about the one-to-one risk reward ratio for the stop loss question that you've asked? You're okay, yeah? Okay. Alfred, you've got your GBP USD. Yes. 25. Uh-huh. No, 25, because 25 40, because 25 area, the one now, the price, let's say, is too close to 2550. So if you are buying, you have to buy above 2550. So 2560 is your buying price. Yeah. Okay, good. All right, perfect. There you go. So it's looking like it has potential to reach there. But let's look at the it's looking very clearly on the uptrend side of it. So do we want to know whether this uptrend is strong or not? The answer is yes. We have to know the strength of the uptrend. So then we apply the average directional movement index. We don't change the parameter as it is. We only add the level 25. You click on add, you type 25, then you click OK, right? So then you've got that. So now the ADX for GBP JPY on the 4-hour chart is looking like it's got the strength. So it means that this can actually move. If the blue line is above the level 25, then you have got more room to go up. Not only more, not more room, more power. That means that there is some battery left to push the price up, and you should be able to see it moving. So sometimes, if, for example, let's look at a pair randomly, okay? Let's say I have got USD JPY right here, okay? Or USD CHF. Let's say it's looking like this is on the 1 hour chart. It's got, you know, lower lows and then lower highs. So that means it is more inclining to the downside, okay? The bias is downside, or downtrend, let's say. But how fast you think it can actually fall? Does it actually have momentum? That is the reason why we apply the ADX. Okay, so if we look at the ADX now, let's say, and we apply average directional movement index, and we see that it is above 25, but it's not really upwards like that and going very high. Then we compare that with a 4 hour. When we compare that with a 4 hour, oops, we can see that it is strong as well. That means that the downtrend can actually fall quite a lot if the level is above 25. Like this one here is really good on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, that downtrend seems to be quite strong on the daily chart. So that means your trend for the downtrend as well is quite strong because we are based on the daily chart. So here, for example, as it comes downwards, of course, you've got a single area. So that means it's got a lot of room to fall at this area. You want to look at single standalone points. Okay, so because it comes down, you will look at the support, which is here, let's say here, but that is not standalone support. This is a standalone support. So there is a potential for it to break downwards under the 9380, going towards 9370 and then fall more, but then that fall will then encourage a support at this area here, which is there, the opening price roughly. I'll take this one away. Roughly there. Okay, so that one there is your triangle area. Okay, so it has actually gone out. Let's just get rid of this one here. This is GBP JPY we're talking about. Is that no, sorry, USD CHF. Yeah, so here it's not a very nice trend line yet because this price here hasn't settled as a support area or you know, good resistance area. So I want to ignore that for now. But as you can see, if we were to apply the three lines as well, the exponential moving averages, you can see that it's a very nice downtrend for the USD CHF. Okay, but of course, you know, we've got a big increase in coronavirus cases in Texas, in California, in New York. It's just been increasing and increasing and increasing. And this has actually caused a lot of complication with the asset prices, stocks, and everything else. So it has definitely impacted negatively the what do you call that, the USD CHF, especially the US dollar crosses. Okay, so that's why you're looking at all this clear. Now it's getting clearer with trend and setups as well, mainly because we have got China, mainly China, which is the second biggest economy in the world. They got your US is the first, but then they are actually quite in par. So they have gone back to work in China. They have actually, you know, gone back into putting some stimulus into the economy, and they are opening up everything in terms of businesses, offices, and everything. They want to get back to action. So because they want to get back to action, that's why it is actually moving, creating a ripple effect economy all over as well. But yesterday, because they started yesterday after the how you call that, the Dragon Boat Festival last week, right? So a lot of people have actually taken off 3 days, 3 days festival and all that. And then now they come back after the festival. The economy wants to start. The government wants to start the economy. So then when they have done that yesterday, when the market opened on Monday yesterday, it impacted all over Asian. all over the Asian currencies as well. So you've got your Malaysian ringgit, Thai baht, Indonesian rupiah, everything went up yesterday as well. So it all went quite strong yesterday because of the depreciation of the US dollar at the same time. So US dollar depreciated, went down, pushed up all the Asian currencies up. At the same time, we had China coming in, and at the same time, we had a coronavirus hitting US quite hardly. So hence the reason we can then see a lot of expectation for trading opportunity. So hence the reason usually it doesn't happen like this on a Monday. On a Monday, usually it's very, very slow. You know, it's not really very high participated market. So that's the reason why we use this ADX as well, just to get an idea whether or not the movement here is actually a good movement. Now, the other thing that we can actually do, which is a very, very simple thing to do, is any pairs that you are trading, you can do your experiment yourself by looking at what time of the day for that particular pair that is quite momentum filled. Okay, what time of the day has got most participation of traders coming in? Like for example, if you looking at, it's best to look at your 1 hour chart for that, so that it's a bit easier to look at the timing as well, hour by hour. Now for example, if I look at this here, you know that the market actually moves in three directions, right? One is either it goes down a lot, or it goes up a lot in a, you know, quite steeply up and steeply down. That is your uptrend and your downtrend. But then it also could go nowhere up, nowhere down, but sideways like this. Okay, so when it is on a sideway like this is the holding time, or uncertainty in the market and all that. But then if it comes downwards, let's say it comes down like this with a big long candles, mother candles as well, that means it's got a lot of activities. Now here, for example, we can see that you've got lots of activities here. Okay, you've got price push up and all that. So what time of the day will that be? I'll use this as my Cyprus time, 5 o'clock in the evening, which is 10 o'clock at night in Malaysia, for example. Okay, so that is quite a big participation. But what about this big candle right here? That's about 2 o'clock. That's about 7 o'clock. No, 2, 5, yeah, 7 o'clock Malaysian time. But I want to look at more hints. Like this one here. Look at the market activity here. Okay, here you have got two large, long candles, bullish mother candles there. Here, for example, on the mother candle itself, it shows me 4 o'clock. Okay, but again, sometimes we have certain pair, they like to move at not only at certain time of the day, they might move more on certain day of the week as well. Okay, so you want to look at on the 12th of March, you know, when was that, what day, for example. You can do your own experiment and see, maybe you'll find a pattern of timing that it moves the most. Okay, so here, let's say go for our chart as well. You can do it in 4 hour chart. You see this one here, there was quite a big movement. Okay, so that moved at 4 in the morning, then 8 in the morning, and then 12 in the afternoon. Okay, right? Then this one here, it was 8 in the morning again. Okay, then what about this big candle right here? That's 4 in the afternoon. Okay, and then we've got this one here, 12 in the afternoon. So we've got the 12 to 2 window in the afternoon, my time as well. That is about 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening. Again, we've got 4 o'clock here. So you see, there are potential timing of the day that the market prefers to buy big and sell big. And you can see this one here. This is a long candle right here. This is 4 o'clock as well, you see. So this is 4 o'clock my time right here. So that is about 9 o'clock your time. So anywhere between 8 o'clock at night onwards, maybe you want to watch the market, and there is actually good opportunities in terms of your indicators are all showing it, and you've got price action and everything else. That is probably a good time to trade, okay, for this pair. In particular, USD CHF. Different pairs, you've got different personalities. You might have to experiment it yourself a little bit, okay, to see, because sometimes anything can actually change. Even the timing of when it is most active can become the least active time, and vice versa, depending on the timing of the months and all that, because things can change anytime. Okay, so There you go. That's USD CHF. You guys are okay so far? Yeah. So far, so good. Right. So you've got that there. Um, any questions? Oh, give me a second. I've got all good. Brilliant. Any pairs that you guys are watching at the moment or not? Any pairs? Okay, so here we want to look at the daily charts for now, and let's just skim through the daily chart so that we can get a bit of a practice in understanding the trend from the daily chart, and then you move it to your shorter time frame so that you can actually write the market better. Okay, so here, for example, we have got the daily chart right here. Now, we've got a standalone area right here. We've got a standalone area right here. That means is the high right there, another high. This is your low area. This is another low area, standalone as well. This is another standalone area right there. So now, if we look at this standalone area as a support, go up here, down, then we are looking at upward type movement. But then here, support can be your A here, B here, C, and then D there. But then now it is actually moving downwards here, right? So now if we were to look at this area right here, we know straight off the bat that it's got a very strong resistant area right there. Okay, so from the resistant area up here, it is the price is moving down for the euro versus the GBP. Okay, so it's moving down. It was very strong moving down from the 9139 area and moved down with some bearish candles, or started with a strong one, then now getting stronger as well. So I'll take this one off. Give me a second. Okay, so here it looks like you've got a resistance here, so that means price is going down. Then you've got an A here, B here, C, and then D, so that means price is looking like it is going downward. So the trend is most likely to the downside. Now as it comes downwards, we've got a standalone here, we've also got a standalone here. All right, so this is a bit of a major, I would say here, A here, B here, C, so that is a low right here, correct? So this could potentially come downwards and hit this area here. But then if we look to the left, it definitely has got some selling power from this single bearish candle. If you guys can see, bearish candle here. And then it ends at its closing price at the end of that bearish candle there. Now, the bearish candle there is at 8910. You don't need to change anything that if that is your stop, if that is your take profit area. But now we've got the power right there. The battery is there. But then is it actually having a lot of participation in the market? We need to always look into the average directional movement index to see whether it's above 25. Now, it's got power, but maybe in the daily chart, it's a little bit slow. That means for the long term is slow. What about the 1 hour chart? On the 1 hour chart, oops. On the 1 hour chart, it's quite good on the upside. On the 4 hour chart, that means you know, it's quite strong, the trend. And then if you look at the 4 hour chart, it's also very strong because the ADX is above. So that's a good sign. So what we can do then is to look at your 1 hour chart, okay, because we are intraday traders, remember? So then we want to look at this movement to the downside based on the current price, whether or not we have got any obstacles, as in a very big support on the 1 hour chart. So I'm going to look at that. We've got a bit of there, any support at all, like a strongish support. We've got good, strong bearishness, of course. This is on a 1 hour chart, and the length of that candle itself is about 34 pips, not too bad. Do we have any support? That's the most. We've got a support based on the opening price of a very strong bullish candle. So this is a reason why it can actually bounce up as well. Okay, so we want to look at whether there are more possibilities of the bounce up. Maybe the bounce up will be just a correction and then on its way down. Let's okay, let's look at it this way. There's still the 1 hour chart we're looking at. We've got here as well. There you go. So here we've got a very strong resistance area at the very top, okay, with a very strong pin bar candle right there, as you can see here. So this confirms that from this level down, the the trend has picked up, the downtrend, the selling has picked up from down there, from under that green line, and where the where I've marked it at the pin bar candle, and then now it could actually right along this candle as well. Okay, so this candle on this single bearish candle until from price now until downwards, the end of the candle is about 24 pips. Okay, so we do have loads of hints that we are on the right track for the selling of the Euro GBP as of now. Okay, it's got some participation of sellers right there. Do I find any very significant reversal to the upside? No, I don't see it. I've seen some smaller ones here, but major reversal or major support, it's not there. Okay, I do see a lot of selling power though on this current price at this moment in time. And let's see, go into the 4 hour chart. Okay, there we go. Okay. I think it's looking like it's got more power in the selling side, see? So this one here as well got that selling pressure right there, single candle right there. So as of now, it is trading at 8985. So if you are thinking of selling based on 4 hour, let's say you can wait a little bit more, or you want to base on the 1 hour. It's entirely up to yourself. Based on 1 hour, then you want to take that major candle there, which basically gives you take profit of 8930. Then the 70 is your selling price, 8970. This is Euro GBP selling at 8970 on the 1 hour chart, and then you're looking at take profiting at 8930. Okay, so that's about 40 pips right there. Okay, so that one there you can actually look at it. It's got very strong bullishness, very strong, sorry, not bullishness, bearishness, and it's got this line trading really nicely on the ADX, looking very, very strong. So yes, we've got power as well. We've got the participation of traders at this time as well. That's why you see it moving like really nicely, especially when you get an ADX like this. Usually this kind of movement happens. Okay, so yeah, it's got some potential. Okay, Mr. Kunal, no problem. Thank you very much. Take care. No worries. Okay, guys. So the rest of you guys, how do you feel with what's going on at in the market at the moment? There is some good opportunity on Euro GBP selling, more and more selling as well. Yeah. I closed the GBP, Euro GBP with a loss. Yeah, it's about 500 actually for myself personally that I have accepted that loss level, and that is one of my loss for out of about 7 trades or something last week, 2 weeks ago. So got about two losses and five wins, but one with the biggest one with the loss is the 500. The second one loss was not that big, it was about 100 or so. So 600 basically lost, but then the others actually covered it quite well with profit. So we still okay on that one. So we want to do that as well. We want to manage our trades, even though we've got losses, but because it was a sudden change of the Euro GBP, has got a lot of changes with the Euro and the GBP. It's got a lot of mixed data as well. So we were riding the data, and then the news data changed as well. So it can actually happen. That can actually happen, but you want to be very careful with that. That is why it is important for you to understand your risk level in percentages. Very, very important. Okay, so any other questions, guys, before we end the session, and then we can continue tomorrow. We can actually look into more trades tomorrow, of course. But one thing I didn't cover now is your Fibonacci. So let me just do a bit of a refresher, just a couple of minutes. We have got the Fibonacci tool here with the F. I can always continue tomorrow and make it more detailed, but here I just want to show you the beginning, the basics. So you want to pull your Fibonacci. If the trend is on the downside, you want to pull your Fibonacci from top to bottom, okay, for any support that you see. So when you get all these lines, what that means is that from any one of these lines could actually be the trigger point for a sell. That is what it means, Fibonacci, okay? So that is why I pull from the top to the bottom. Look at where the market fell. It fell at that on this line, okay? It fell on that line. It fell on that area roughly on that line. So all these lines that you see and the numbers there are called Fibonacci ratios, okay? So any ratios, we can put our ratios on our own. I'll give you a set of ratios to work on with our strategy of geometric patterns, okay? So we select that. So if your ratios are under 100, let's say 78.6 is under 100, 50 under 100, anything under 100 or up to 100, it's called Fibonacci retracement. Anything that is above 100, that means 127, 110, whatever that is above 100, 101, they are all called Fibonacci extension. Okay, so when we do our basics, tomorrow we will touch on to the Fibonacci again, and then we will actually look into it deeper. Fibonacci ratios, and then we want to insert the ratios. How do you actually insert the ratios? You pull in here anywhere. You got the three dots here, for example, just right click on any one of the area of the dot, and then you go to properties right there, then you go to levels. Here, this is where you add your level. So 38.2, anything under the 100, you want to use this format, 0.382 and then 38.2, 0.5, 50%. So this is the format for under 100%. Above 100, the format is like this. If you want 2.61, then your description here is 261.8. So I will walk you guys through on that tomorrow. We will insert the ratios together, and then I will show you how you use your ratios in order for you to understand reversals as well, support resistance as well, and also to use it as a tool to confirm that the pattern, the geometric pattern that we draw is actually a solid geometric pattern. So Fibonacci ratios can be used in various ways. If you use it with patterns, it can actually help you understand how high probability that pattern is. So you've got all these magic numbers like 78.6%, 61.8%, and all that. Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, we're just looking at the ADX there as well. Good. We're also looking at lots of support going on, supportive move, appreciation of AUD USD as well. Maybe there's a good breakout of positive news. Maybe we also see that. So we see a lot of depreciation USD pairs, USD crosses. CAD is also looking a little bit depreciative. It's got uncertainty with the oil scenario that impacts Canada, of course, as an oil producer themselves, and also the current corona situation in Canada as well. It's not been looking very good. Okay, so now here with the price at 79.20, it could actually reverse at any time. If not, you'll be looking at some very strong support area right there, which is still very, very close to the 79.20 area for the CAD-JPY. Okay, guys, I think that's basically it that I have for you guys. Perhaps we will continue in Sambong tomorrow. Okay, same time, 3:30, or maybe if you guys want to make it at 9 o'clock, if it's better for you guys, by all means, no problem. Okay, so there you go, guys. Thank you very much. Any questions at all? If not, we'll just end the session. Is that okay? All good? Okay, good. All right. Thank you, guys. Brilliant. So see you guys tomorrow. Noshini, any questions directly, you can also ask me, any of you guys as well. Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one. And we'll speak again tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. No problem, Shinko. Take care. Bye. Have a good night. Selamat malam. Bye-bye.